When things go wrong as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must but do not ever quit. Success is a failure turned inside out. Let's talk and clear the clouds of doubt.
Without doubt, the whispers of Shaytan are real. They affect us in numerous negative ways. Perhaps Shaytan comes to you when you begin to pray, when you make the opening takbir. You forget how many what rak'ah am I on? How many sujoos did I make? Even the whispers of Shaytan prevent us sometimes and corrupt our intentions. When we make the intention to do a righteous deed, perhaps pray, or any good deed, the whispers of Shaytan perhaps divert us from this course. So what can we do? How can we fight back? And we also have to identify how the Shaytan comes to you and how can we break free of that. That is our topic suggested by a good friend of mine. I certainly hope you guys enjoy it. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to your favorite program, Let's Talk, of course, on your favorite channel, Huda TV. I'm joined by two very friendly, two friends of mine, two special guests. You've seen the first brother on Straight Path before. He's, I believe, I would like to introduce him as a caller to Islam and a sincere brother, Kareem Adib. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Let's Talk. I certainly appreciate
Wa
your time. Of course, we have a brother all the way from Florida State University via Fayoum University. So we're going to be talking about the contrast of two universities coming from a conservative, decent, mashallah, society into a more open and Western liberal society. I think that's an amazing topic. I want you to talk about it in great detail from Fayoum to Florida State. Mahmoud Saeed, assalamu alaikum, brother. I mispronounced your last name, I apologize.
No, it's correct.
Okay, I know you also teach Arabic at Florida State. You're an Arabic teacher, so perhaps you can help me with my Arabic skills, inshallah, as well. Thank you so much, I appreciate it. You guys in the studio audience, assalamu alaikum, welcome to Let's Talk. I'm not going to let you guys out the hook. You're going to talk a lot, and I want you guys to tell me your personal experiences, how and when the Shaytan comes to you guys. I know you guys come from different backgrounds. I want you to share that, different places in the world, different temptations approach you. I want to know what those are and how you fight back against those. And you guys, welcome to all of you. We're going to check out a report on Facebook. We posted this same question on Facebook. How and when does the Shaytan come to you? You guys at home, the question is, how and when does the Shaytan come to you, which was on our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/huda.tv or Huda TV. Check out that report and we'll be right back. Noor Aizatul. Hey, it's still got time to pray. Go ahead posting on your Facebook. Delay Salah. Dils Mubarak. Listening to music. Quantanya Zainab Bilhaj. Delaying my prayers. Ayman. Backbiting other people. Faida Abdurrahman. The usual whisper I get is, you are not gossiping or backbiting. You are just conveying your feelings about the person in subject. I know it is Shaytan and I can't stop. Insha'Allah, I will. Ismail Bukhari, Subhanallah, delaying prayers or not even praying, and fornication. Fatima Yeledi, backbiting, sometimes praying, some rakats sitting, making false jokes to make people laugh. I thought those were some excellent points. I even liked the one post that said, keep posting on Facebook, you can delay the prayer. Dear brothers, can we comment on those concerns a little bit before we get into the program? Brother Kareem, did you think some of those were valid? I mean, how do you feel about those comments?
I think they were valid. Most of them rotate around one main thing, which is you positioning yourself in a certain idea, whether it's backbiting or saying jokes to make other people laugh.
Right.
All of these are things that are related to you personally and how you position yourself.
Right, good point. Yeah, excellent. Brother, I know at FSU everybody's on Facebook. I think that's funny. We posted this on Facebook to gauge how Shaitan comes to people. And then what I think the sister said, Facebook itself can be a whisper of Shaitan when you delay your obligatory. Did you find that interesting?
Yes, because I think it's the main idea is about delaying everything. It's not only prayer. Even if you're studying, that's a good thing too. But
Right.
you're still delaying this, depending on socializing with others and keep procrastinating your
Right.
tasks.
So-
It's not only about Facebook. It's about other
It
things.
could be whatever your interest may be. I have a lot of questions that I want to share with you guys. But before that, I want to go to the studio audience. I want you guys to just briefly introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, tell the viewers where you're from, and tell me at least one example of how and when the Shaitan comes to you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
My name is Nabil. I'm from Egypt, and I think Shaitan comes to you every time. All the time, maybe. Having free time, he comes to you. Going to prayer, he comes to you. When you study, he comes to you. Trying to take away, make you go stray from your path, from the way.
How do you deal with it?
How you do with it? For me, I think keeping the fact that Allah is there, Allah is watching you, and you love Allah and want to be loved by Allah, and you always have the fear of Allah in your heart. So you have to stay focusing on this idea.
But you had a nice
Yeah.
comment before the show, brother. You talked
Yeah.
about. Go ahead, Ibn al-Qayyim.
Ibn Qayyim said, Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah, he was saying that the Muslim, the mu'min, have to be balanced between the fear and the love of Allah. So even if he go astray one time, he make one mistake sometimes, it's a human. So he can go back right away to ask Allah for forgiveness and go back to the right path with Allah.
MashaAllah, thank you so much for that. Certainly appreciate those comments. Go ahead, brother.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
My name is Omar. I'm from Egypt.
MashaAllah, brother. Do you want to share an experience you have?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Getting up to Fajr prayer,
Oh, man. Good.
it feels like you having a rock on your shoulders,
Yes, and it's freezing.
bound to the bed. These things.
So what inspires you to get out and do it?
Don't let the shaitan control me.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
But do you experience sometimes the night before, you say, I will pray Fajr in the mosque, and then when you wake up, you all of a sudden, a million excuses come to your mind. Does that happen to you?
Yeah, I can't get up. It's
Oh,
cold.
it's cold, I'm tired, I have to go to work.
Yeah, just like that.
SubhanAllah, there's a whisper of Shaitan. Thank you so much, I appreciate your thank you, brother Omar. How about you, brother?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
My name is Aldin. I'm from Bosnia and Herzegovina.
MashaAllah.
Shaitan is coming to me when I want to pray prayer Fajr. He told me, sleep, don't don't go to pray. But I tell for him, I will pray. And I told,
Shaitan, you will do it.
ah,
Yeah, that's very good, brother. May Allah bless you. That's very hard, I know, to pray Fajr sometimes, but we have to do it. Barakallahu fi. Oh, go ahead, brother.
well, Shaitan come to my father in Bosnia. Well, he is drinking alcohol.
May Allah help him.
Shaitan is coming to my mother. She is not praying.
Hmm.
Coming to
May
my
Allah help him.
sister. She is not. She is listening to music.
May Allah help them. So I see.
Inshallah,
Inshallah, yes. It's a challenge,
Inshallah,
but I definitely
he's
agree
coming
with you.
to oral us.
Yeah, of course, different ways from different societies. I agree with you, brother.
But we can protect from him. Praying. Yeah.
Making supplication, praying, all these things. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it. Barakallahu feek. Go ahead, brother. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Let's Talk.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
What's your name, brother? Where are you from?
I'm Kenan from Bosnia and Herzegovina.
MashaAllah. May Allah bless you.
I came from Bosnia, like my friend, and I grew up in an Islamic family, alhamdulillah.
Yeah,
And,
that's great.
I came from Islamic high school in
MashaAllah.
Bosnia, and now I'm studying history on Al-Azhar University in
MashaAllah.
Cairo, Egypt.
Great.
But I have one problem with the shaitan, and it is when I'm trying to memorize the Quran. He comes to me and he's telling, no, if you will forget it, and if you forgot, Allah will punish you, and don't learn it, don't memorize it. But I'm trying to learn and to complete the memorizing of the Quran, and I hope
May
Allah will
Allah
help
you,
me.
Akhi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I really love all the brothers from Bosnia. I know the Bosnian brothers have been through a lot. May Allah help them, bless them, and all the
Thank you.
Muslims
Thank
in
you
Bosnia.
very much.
Ameen. Assalamu alaikum, brother. How are you?
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
It's been a while since we've been on Let's Talk. Thanks for coming back. Go ahead, brother. You can just say your name and where you're from and maybe one example, inshallah.
My name is Adis. I come from Bosnia, and I'm studying here in Egypt, Islamic studies. I also, like other brothers, I have a problem with Shaytan. And now when the exam starts, when I coming to open my book and come to read something, he comes to me and says, open your laptop, see what is news and something like that. When exams ends, I close up my laptop, I don't read anything.
That's a great point, brother. Yeah, I think that's what I think many people would agree with you. Excellent point. As a friend of mine had actually mentioned to me recently, sometimes Shaitan doesn't just prevent you, he didn't just order you to do bad, but he prevents you from doing something good as well. So thank you, brother, for those comments. I certainly appreciate it. Thank you so much. And this brother's first time on Let's Talk. Welcome. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for coming here. Go ahead, brother. Your name, where you're from, and a little bit about you.
Muhammad Gad. I'm from Egypt.
MashaAllah.
So what I wanted to say that having shaitan in our life is really a bad thing, but also it could be a little bit good thing, because already there is a challenge in your life. So for example, in the large projects or large companies, they learn them if you didn't find a challenge, or if you didn't find a problem, you must create a problem. Right. Because if you are under pressure, you will do your best. So for example, waking up to Fajr without shaitan, maybe I will just switch one alarm. But if I know there is a shaitan, his best thing is only to fight me, I will switch more than one alarm. And this is
right.
And I will also pray a lot. I will be closer to my God. I think this is maybe a little bit good thing.
Yeah, it could be a positive aspect if you use it in the right, if you channel the energy in the right way.
Yes, of course, it's better for us.
Excellent. Thank you for your time. Before I get Brother Kareem to you, I wanted to since we're mentioning these experiences, FSU, Florida State University, I went to UCLA, I know what goes on there. I'm sure there's a huge fitna there as far as, let's just be honest, consuming alcohol, drugs, fornication, all this is open at FSU. So I'm sure many times as an undergraduate there, I'm sure Shaitan came to you and said, hey, you're in America, and hey, this girl's really pretty, or hey, there's a party, why can't I just have a beer or something? I mean, did that happen to you?
Yes, actually, when I first traveled, I didn't expect what I'm going to face, because I grew up in a society where you can see every woman that is veiled. You can tell that this is Muslim or not non-Muslim only from the way of clothing or way of life.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we have in our culture or society, the deen or religion is mixed. So even if they are not Muslim,
the culture and the religion, you mean?
Yes, they're still using some expressions like inshallah or alhamdulillah or other sentences.
And there's some decency in interaction and physical appearance.
Yes, and even in clothes. Everyone gets dressed in like a decent way, even if they're not Muslims.
Right.
So going suddenly like a shock into another completely different community,
right,
that everything is open and
I mean, you didn't go to Harvard or Indiana or you went to Florida State, so it's big time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beaches.
Beaches and parties and everything.
Girls, I got invited to so many parties, and I rejected decently. And when I reject something, they begin to be curious about you. Why did you reject? So it's about drinking. No, I don't drink. Why? Others drink. No, because I'm just a Muslim. And one day I was invited to an event, and they started, okay, you can just come and don't drink. What do you eat? Do you eat pork? No, I don't. Okay, you can be served anything else.
Right.
So they start to respect your choices and your preferences.
You can get in there with a little bit of da'wah even. It's an opportunity.
Yes, that's what I mean. And sometimes when I had a conflict about anything, even it's personal, I had to represent myself as a Muslim, or sometimes as a Middle Eastern, or sometimes as an Arab, or sometimes as an Egyptian.
Right.
So you can just let things go, because you know that the others are looking at you from a different perspective.
Right.
And they are going to generalize. If you do something, that's what Muslims do. And sometimes they don't know anything about you. I heard it once, like, what do you do in the church?
Right,
Like,
right.
They don't even know the terminology.
Right.
Sometimes they say the Bible of Muslims.
Right.
I mean, even the terminology they are not familiar with.
Right. So you're the face of Islam at FSU. Very good, brother. Thank you so much. Brother Kareem, some people might say, maybe not practicing Muslims or non-Muslims watching, they may say, you know what, Shaytan, let's confirm he even exists, because perhaps this is just like a psychological status of some people or situation. So do we have evidence, concrete evidence from the Quran and Sunnah that Shaytan exists and he does whisper to the servants of Allah to get them off the straight path?
Yes. As Muslims, in the Quran and the Sunnah, it revolves around, the whole identity of a Muslim revolves around kufr and shirk and iman and your true belief.
Okay.
And this story is from the beginning of the creation, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam alayhi salam, and the animosity between Adam and Iblis or Shaytan started to happen. In the beginning, when he was created, Adam alayhi salam, Iblis would go around him and he would hover around him and he would go inside him, and he knew that he was created for something very important, but he didn't know what. And at that time, Iblis was a jinn. He was one of the highest worshippers of the jinn, so he was elevated to a position near the angels. Okay. And he kept on going, and then when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made Adam alive and he blew the ruh in him, the spirit, and he stood up and he sneezed, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered the angels and the jinn, Iblis with them, to prostrate to Adam, to do sujood to Adam as a sign of respect to Adam alayhi salam. Iblis said no, and he refused. He refused out of two main things: out of kibr, which is his pride and his arrogance, because he said, أنا خير من خلقتني من نار وخلقته من طين. You have created me from fire and you've created him from clay, so how can somebody made
I'm better than you.
I'm better than him.
Okay.
And he decided that this was the beginning of the war, and he said, and then he refused to bow to Adam alayhi salam, and he declared war on that day. He said that he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make him stay alive until Yawm al-Qiyamah, so that he can لأغوينهم, so that he can deviate them and take them away from the path.
Okay.
This is his mission.
And this is clear and confirmed as you give us that clear evidence. Yes. Thank you, Brother Kareem. What I want to do is, we do have to take a short break, but when we get back, Brother Kareem, I want you to share I'm sure the Prophet, of course, the Prophet ﷺ gave us some ways to defend and protect against that. And I'm sure there's a lot of people in Brother Mahmoud's position who are in universities right now that could use some of that information and knowledge, possibly supplications or and dua and things like this. So we'll talk about that in the next segment. You guys at home, stay tuned. We also have a video of Baba Ali coming up. I hope you guys enjoy it. So stay tuned to Let's Talk.
Al-Khalaq is the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran in Surah Hijr, Surah number 15, ayat number 86. Al-Khalaq is the superlative of Khaliq. He is the master creator. Don't you see how we have created the camels? Allah used especially the camel. Why? Because there are so many scientific facts. This animal is unique. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is inviting us. Al-Khalaq is the one who created the camel. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah has 99 names, 100 minus 1. Whoever comprehends them will have Jannah. The supreme name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Allah. Allah is the greatest name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We talked about Al-Ahad, its meaning and its implication upon us. We talked about Al-A'la, Al-Akram, Al-Awwal, Al-Akhir, Al-Zahir, Al-Batin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided everything on the face of the earth for us to do good. In order to do good, we need to first recognize the one who is the source of all goodness, and that is Al-Barr.
Welcome back to Let's Talk, you guys. We're talking about breaking free from the whispers and influence of Shaytan. We have a cool video coming up about Baba Ali talking about Shaytan coming to him during the prayer. But before I show that to you, I want to go to the studio audience. I want to ask you guys, does the Shaytan come to you during the prayer itself and or going to the prayer? And if so, how do you fight back?
Yeah, Shaitan comes, when the way to prayer, when you have in your mind the idea, I'm going to pray, he starts hunting you, Like, yesterday I was going to a meeting at 3 o'clock, and it's near time for Asr prayer. And, I have a masjid here, so you can, no, there is a nearer masjid there. And on my way, I would, all the rush, but suddenly, it was iqama.
Right.
I hear the iqama. I know I'm obligated to answer for this call. That's the way God helped me. Allah helped me to break free from it. If it's for myself, I couldn't.
SubhanAllah,
I tried to resist, but Allah helped us.
Yeah, it helps to have the adhan and the iqama and living in the Muslim country. That's very beneficial. Yeah, thank you so much. I think the brother in the back has a comment as well.
Yes, of course. SubhanAllah, the prayer in Islam is the most important thing. And of course the Shaitan knows this. So that's why he come even from the beginning. He said to you, will you pray in mosque or not? We know that pray in mosque is better than praying. And then even if you come into the pray after, for example, in prostrate, it's okay to just say 3 Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. After that, you begin to think of your life. What should I do after pray? What should I do in my day?
What am I going to eat for lunch?
Yes, it's enough, but he everything, subhanAllah, and even this prostrate makes Shaitan crazy. So at the same time also, I think the God help us.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Sometimes myself, did I make the takbir correctly? What rak'ah am I in? Did I make 2 sujuds? Because you let yourself, Shaitan, influence you in a negative way. So let's watch this video from Baba Ali and see what he has to say.
Parts of Ramadan is Shaitan's MIA during that month. MIA means missing in action. But for the rest of the year, we have to listen to his whispering, especially during the salat. How annoying is that? Shaitan sucks. Big time. When Adam was created, Shaitan was the only one that wouldn't bow down. Out of arrogance, he disobeyed Allah. What a loser. Out of jealousy, his goal is to make you go astray so you don't make it into paradise. Shaitan is like the first hater. And that's why I always try to play mind games with you. Doing whatever he can to take you away from the straight path. Trying to distract you. It's like as soon as you say, Allahu Akbar, the whispering begins. He'll try to make you remember things that you couldn't remember for the life of you 10 seconds ago. But suddenly now you remember where your keys are. Phone numbers that you thought you forgot. The funny things that happen to you throughout the day. All the stuff you have to do right after salat. He even tries to give you doubt if you have wudu or not. So you spend the rest of the time trying to think about, do I have wudu or do I not have wudu? Next thing you know, your salat is over. As soon as you say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum, the whispering stops.
Well, I enjoyed that video. I hope you did. I really like what he said about even the ablution. You begin thinking, did I make wudu correctly, or do I have wudu or I don't? Brother Kareem, briefly your thoughts on that video. Have you experienced those as well? Or
I think everyone has to have experienced those. It's there's a special Shaitan for Salah, Khanzab. His only job is to get you. Did I pray 3, 4? Right. Did I do wudu? Did I not make wudu? Right. Am I facing the qibla, or should I move 2 centimeters this way? And am I wearing what? And then after that, you go, like he was saying in the video, you start to remember phone numbers, and people and faces and things. So many things that you thought would never come to your mind, and they come. And as soon as you say "Assalamu alaikum, assalamu alaikum," it just appears, and the Shaitan's gone, and you're like, what happened?
Well, certainly, Brother Kareem, I mean, the Prophet, peace be upon him, of course, gave us some means to protect against these whispers during their prayer and outside the prayer. Perhaps you can share with us some of those means to protect ourselves from that.
Okay. During prayer, the Prophet ﷺ said that if you start to lose concentration, several things that you should do. First of all, if you're in doubt between whether it's 3 or 4, 3 or 4, 2 or 3, then you should go to the lesser number, and then in the end you do sajdatain, 2 sujood, 2 prostrations, 4 sahw.
Okay.
And you just build on that, and that would kill off any doubts you have in terms of was it 3 or 4. Then you know you should build on the lower number.
Okay.
and in whether I did wudu, I didn't do wudu before, you should build on the fact that you did do wudu, unless you are certain 100% that you did not do wudu. This is easy to cut off these simple distractions. Another thing to do is that you do 3 times on to your left, and that should keep you. All of these things help you to concentrate, as well as concentrating on the prayer itself.
Right.
Because once you realize that the prayer itself, that you are standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you're talking directly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and these are the words of Allah that you are using, then once you realize this and you start to live this, then it becomes much easier to protect yourself in your prayer.
Excellent point. I have a lot of topics I want to get to you guys about. The Brother Kim, you mentioned before the program 6 ways that Shaitan tricks us, noted by Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, rahimahullah. Also, I want to talk about the role supplication plays, the roles of having a clear intention. I think these are all very important. But before I ask you guys that, do you think, Brother Kareem, Brother Mahmoud, everybody in the studio audience, is this related to the level of Iman? Does someone with weak Iman weak faith, experience whispers of Shaitan, or is he more likely to give into them than someone with stronger Iman, faith?
I think that everyone will experience Shaitan. He will enter different ways. The Prophet ﷺ once was sitting with the companions, and he drew a straight line on the ground with a stick, and he drew 6 lines perpendicular to it on this side and 6 on this side. And he said, on each one of these is a Shaitan, and he's calling you to a different way. And the line in the middle, this is the Sunnah. And then he read out, وَأَنَّ هَذَا صِرَاطِي مُسْتَقِيمًا فَاتَّبِعُوا وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا السُّبُلَ. And this is my true path, so follow it. And do not follow the paths of Shaitan. And so the paths are many. And that's why in the Quran, al-dhulumat, which is darkness, is always plural. Because there's so many ways. And an-nur is singular. It's just one path.
Excellent point. Yeah, so, that's beautiful.
And I think so just sticking to the sunnah, alaykum bi sunnati, you should hold fast to my sunnah and to the sunnah of the Khulafa ar-Rashidin, the guided companions. لَن تَضِلُّوا بَعْدِي أَبَدًا. And this is the, you will stay guided and you'll stay protected. Inshallah.
Excellent. Supplication, brother. I think supplication is very important. What about at FSU? Challenge you faced, what helped you overcome them?
Actually, the main big challenge I had, that I traveled in Ramadan.
Okay.
So I arrived in a completely new city to me, society, everything. So I didn't even know the direction of Qibla. So the prayer times, fasting hours, everything. So I had to ask, and I was living far away from the mosque. So I had, after living a month and a half in the apartment the university had for me, I had to move for after a month and a half to be closer to the masjid. And alhamdulillah, it was right in the next street. And other challenges, like I had a class at the Jummah time. So I told my teacher that I had to leave 10 minutes earlier on Friday. He told me this Friday. No, I told him no, it's each and every Friday, because this 10 minutes makes me lose a very, very important prayer for me as a Muslim. And he actually excused this for me, and I had to leave. Among other events we had, to overcome this, I mean, we had some events. I was teaching also at an Islamic school for kids. It's on weekends. It's a weekend Islamic school of Tallahassee. We were teaching them mainly Quran and some basics of Arabic. And alhamdulillah, it was, sometimes I had the Shaitan coming to me like, why are you sacrificing your weekend? You can just go out of town. And sometimes I get invitations.
Right, so because a good friend of mine once told me, Shaitan may perhaps appear to us in a human form as well. So this is a negative, also a challenge, right? Having people around you that have different values, so they're pushing you into following the Shaitan perhaps as well, right?
Yes.
Having friends inviting you to not do good and come to these parties and not do the Arabic studies and things like that.
Yes, and actually what kept me going, that the Imam Muhammad Abu al-Azz, may Allah give him health, he told me that my class is one of the best. So that kept me going, like keep teaching them, and they working with the young kids is a big challenge.
Yes, subhanAllah.
And also we had some events with the imam too, like having sessions of letting people know more about Islam in the mosque. We had sometimes like delegations from the church and other places, and that was interesting.
It was helpful for you. Oh, okay, very good, mashallah.
Yes, so I had to have my own, to devise my own solutions for these kind of challenges.
Yeah, I like that. You have to take action. That's very good.
Yes, because I had a good excuse, like I have a class. I live far away.
Exactly. Yeah, that's also Shaitan comes to you like that as well. Well, you have a valid excuse. I'm in America. I have a class on Friday. Oh, I have to go to this party because it's our colleagues are going to be there.
Yes.
All these things, Shaitan comes to you in that way. Thank you, brother, for mentioning that. Brother, what about supplications? There's many supplications that we find in the Quran and Sunnah. So what are some supplications perhaps that will help us fight away these whispers and the influence of Shaitan?
The beauty of Islam is that it's very simplified. Yes, there's lots of supplications, lots of dua which you can use, but the easiest the Prophet ﷺ uses, and they're the most complete. And the Prophet ﷺ said, if you feel that there's a waswas, there's whispers from the shaitan, then all you need to do is say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim. I seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the shaitan. And it's as easy as that. It's very simple. And there's no need to complicate it more than that. There are different things that Allah Nabi gave us as well. For example, doing wudu. That helps. That would help you. When the Prophet said, if somebody feels angry, they should do wudu. Or they should sit down if they're standing up, or they should move around, because anger itself is one of the tools that Shaitan uses. Once there's the fog and there's the mist, and you lose concentration, you do things which you would regret later on, and this is one of the tools that Shaitan would use. And of course, the most powerful tool against Shaitan is prayer, salah itself. Because in it, we say there's 17 times a day that we say, Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim, guide us to the straight path. And this is what we want. We want to stay on the straight path, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps us to fight Shaitan.
And I'm smiling because I remember the comment my friend said, Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim. This is why Shaitan perhaps is fighting so hard to keep us away from the prayer. I want to go to the studio audience. Somebody give me an experience of where you felt the influence of Shaitan, but you said, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, and you were able to get away from what you're doing. Does anybody have an experience like that they could share? Go ahead.
I think the most one is when you become angry. This is the most way, and this is what the Prophet said. And I have tried this before so many times. When I just, especially with my younger brother, especially with anyone, when I just said A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim inside myself, it's come over.
It's helpful, yeah, of course. Yes, subhanAllah, mashallah. Brother Kareem, what about the 6 ways Shaitan tricks us, written by Ibn Qayyim?
Ibn Qayyim, rahimahullah, he says there's 6 levels that the Shaitan would try and get you. The first is that you do shirk, that you do kufr, or you refute the deen outright.
Which is a huge
it's a big one. It's and this isn't some mistake which you do something wrong. This is completely refuting the deen. And if he doesn't get you in that, then he will go to bid'ah. And he uses bid'ah because the trick that he uses with bid'ah is that you think that you're on the right thing, and you keep on doing more and more and more while it's not on the sunnah. And in the hadith of Aisha radiallahu anhu, anything that is against the sunnah, it is refuted.
But brother, why in this order? I think you mentioned before, because the first one is so big.
Yes.
He knows
the first one is so big that if he comes out to any Muslim and says, do shirk, or go do sujood, do kufr, do to something else, usually it's refuted. They say no, it's not accepted. It's not something that you would usually.
We know better, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, we know, alhamdulillah. So if he can't go through that, then he goes to bid'ah. He says, well, okay, you're a religious person, try this. And he gives you different things, and even some of the bid'ahs might be bid'ahs which have shirk in them, and he keeps on playing around with that.
That's how he opens that door.
He's opening the doors. This is it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَا تَتَّبِعُوا خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ, the footsteps of the shaitan. He gradually pulls you in, he gives you, this is a small sin, try this out, and then you get accustomed to it, and then you move on to the bigger one and bigger one until you fall into something really, really big.
And before we get to the third thing, which I think you're going to mention next, we're going to take a short break. But before we do, bid'ah in there means what? Perhaps the viewers are not familiar with this word.
Bid'ah is innovation. It's something which is introduced to the deen, which did not exist at the time of the Prophet ﷺ.
So perhaps Shaytan opens that door for us to get us step by step off the deen. Perhaps I actually bought a book recently, and I was really excited about it. It was a book written by a Muslim author, and Allah knows best. But the more I kept reading and reading, I said, "Wait a minute." It takes you inch by inch until you realize the author's agenda. So perhaps you introduce some innovation. Before you know it, you've gone far astray. May Allah protect us from that. You guys stay tuned to Let's Talk. We're going to be talking about breaking free and breaking free from the whispers and influence of Shaytan when we get back. So stay tuned.
Have spilled over onto the
escalated into violent clashes between police and protesters.
Over the government's plan to avoid default.
And we're also hearing of injuries on both.
Journalist Charlie McGrath says the cuts will heap further suffering on ordinary people.
For decades, but the fence needs some
This is a serious and big storm.
Join me as I explore pressing issues facing the Muslim world today. From the one-sided civil war in Syria to the genocide in Burma, from the Arab Spring to the elections in the US, and yes, even the Euro debt crisis in Greece. Honest reporting on a channel you can trust, and I won't leave an issue untouched. Don't miss the Ummah Tonight with me, Malik, on your favorite channel for the TV. Welcome back, you guys. We're still talking about breaking free from the whispers and influence of Shaytan. I want to go to the studio audience, you guys. Brother Kareem was talking about 6 ways written by Imam Ibn al-Qayyim. May Allah have mercy on him, that Shaytan comes to you. He mentioned 2. The first one was the biggest one. Yeah, disbelief, outright. Disbelief. The second one was
al-bid'ah,
which is innovation.
Yes.
And then, so can you maybe give us your guess on the third? What could the third be?
The third, I think, if you come over those 2 things, you will do the most baddest thing.
Right. Because now we start with the worst. We're getting lower and lower. So now you could say major sins. Is that correct?
Kabair, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You want to talk about? Okay, let's talk about the third one then. Major sins. Go ahead.
Major sins, anything which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether in the Sunnah through the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam or Al-Quran, has cursed.
Okay.
So that would be anything which has la'an, which is curse,
right,
on it, or has a wa'id, which is something which is foretold that you will be punished for this,
right,
an extreme punishment, then this would be from the kabair, like killing, fornication, adultery.
Right.
All of these are
major sins.
Major
and
sins.
as Brother Mahmoud knows, perhaps when you're in your normal state and in a comfortable environment, you would never think of doing these things. But maybe when you travel, you have a new experience, you're out of your comfort zone, maybe Shaytan will come to you and say, hey, this doesn't look so bad. Did you experience that at FSU?
Yes, a lot. And actually, another point that I want to clarify, that sometimes here in a Middle Eastern society, if you have something you want to do, most of the time you are praying to God, please make it easier for me, please let me do this, please make it easier.
This for me.
Facilitate this for me, yes.
Great.
But there you're like, everything is easy. You can get anything.
Yeah.
You can obtain anything.
Right.
And actually, we have the Muslim Student Association. They have very great events for this. We have Andre, Alexi Galvin, Brendel DeJoya, Sam Wakil. All of these people, some of them are my colleagues and students, and they are having great events like tabling around the university. They have tables,
right,
and they distribute like flyers to let them people know about the MSA and Islam and everything. And sometimes they have events like Islamic dinner, fastathon, They invited the whole university to fast a day, and we have dinner or breakfast together,
Right.
Muslims and non-Muslims,
Right.
which was great because it had like a very big effect because the number of people attended was very big.
MashaAllah. That's
So
good.
they have some activities that
That
really
help to
really
break out of this influence
Yes.
and stay away from those major sins.
Yes.
Excellent point. What about, that was the third, what about the fourth?
I guess for it would be a smaller sins, you know.
Right.
Yeah, like, you know, it's small sins. What you do, it you know, it's not big, very big. You can, Allah will forgive you. He's merciful.
And then they
something
add
like
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course,
So
excellent
it
point.
become a habit, and it's become like it's a normal thing to do.
Right. Great point. It becomes a habit because you think it's a small sin
It's
and it's
just
not
a
a big
song.
deal. Yeah, it's just a song, or it's just a cigarette,
Yeah.
or she's just my girlfriend. This type of thing, right, Brother Kareem?
Yes, this is the, it's one of the biggest. It's a common trick, and you have white lies and
Yes.
black lies, and lies are lies. There's
Right.
no white and black. It's
So we could say these small sins are something dangerous. It's not something to...
Of course.
Yeah.
And they're dangerous, and the Prophet ﷺ, he once gave an example. It's like having small sticks, and you collect all the sticks together, and then you light the fire, and you have a big bonfire. Or you have, so these are, all of these, when they accumulate, become suddenly really, really big, and you think, oh, this is small, this is small, this is small. But it's when they add up in the mizan, in Yawm al-Qiyamah, when they're weighed in Yawm al-Qiyamah, you find nothing small.
Yeah, I think if we begin committing small sins and we think it's okay, this is a red flag that we have to reevaluate ourselves. What about the fifth one? Does anybody know the fifth one?
I think it's some allowed things. So he whispered you to make allowed things, to not to do better things.
Oh, okay, okay. So, would you like to comment on that, the fifth way?
Yeah, the fifth way
Thank
is
you, brother.
When Shaytan comes in, you've passed all of these
Yeah,
levels,
like you
and
got through that.
and now he comes in and he says, well, you're studying, and that's good, and you've got a good niyyah, and you're studying,
Right.
mashallah, and you're getting reward for your studying,
Right.
and there's prayer. But this is the time of prayer. So he says, well, keep studying, and he keeps you away from the prayer because he knows that this is the higher ranking of the two deeds at that time.
Even if you're studying the deen, as you said.
Or deen or not, no, just studying, any type of
Yeah.
studying, as long as you have a good intention,
Right.
and you're studying it, and you're asking that maybe to help the ummah, the Muslim nation,
Right.
or to help people or to make your parents happy. All these are intentions that you can take in any ibadah. Or
Right.
you're sitting with your parents and doing birr, which is one of the highest deeds. And then Shaitan says, stay with your mom and you can talk, and this is birr, this is very good, this
Right.
is, and leave the prayer out, because he knows that at this time prayer is higher than...
And this is a very clever way to get the servant
To
away
get
from
you,
Allah.
yes.
Actually, I did experience, brother, maybe you have as well at Florida State University. You see, mashallah, many academically successful Muslim students, but perhaps they left off the prayer or delay it because of their studies.
Yes.
Did you see that as well?
Yes, most of them, sometimes not most of them, they leave Jummah, and I am surprised that to meet this person on campus at that time.
Subhanallah.
And I have a class, okay? We actually had two Jummahs, one in the near masjid and one in the bigger one, which is later. I'll go to the late one. Okay, so you still have the option to go to the masjid on campus, which is easier, and
Yes.
the time is the class time, I know, but you can have the last 10 minutes as an excuse and you catch the prayer.
Right. That's great, brother, because I know that in college you kind of make your own schedule, so we shouldn't take these concessions and make excuses. That's an excellent point. So
Actually, most of them, they were considering this. They cannot take this class because it meets with the Jummah time.
That's great. Yeah, mashallah. All right, we got 5 down. Who can say the 6th type? Go ahead, brother.
I think that the last thing is that you do some good things, but you don't do your obligation. Like you are praying at night and you don't pray your Fajr prayer.
Yeah,
prayer.
I thank you, brother. That's an excellent point. I do see that sometimes, people do that as well.
Yeah, but this is similar to number 5, which is, and this is, for example, this would be one of the exactly the example that you said was very, very strong. You come in, for example, you see in Ramadan, people do qiyam, and they do qiyam maybe the whole night, and then they do suhoor, and they go to sleep, and they leave Fajr. Even though Fajr is the obligation, this is it's not optional. The other one is very good. It's it's good for your iman, it's good for your hasanat, but it's not an obligation. And this is where the Shaitan tricks them. He says, well, you're going to be praying anyways, well, you might as well do the one that is extra, and you leave the core.
Yeah, subhanAllah. What about number 6?
Number 6 is ghafla, negligence. Negligence.
Being negligent, just being
general.
reckless, not caring.
Yes, and just wasting your time in general. And he will do that in things that are okay. You're not getting any sayyat, you're not getting any sins. For example, you can chat, you talk on the phone. He says talk to your friends on the phone for hours, 2 hours, 3 hours. Play video games, and you play video games, and you beat level 1, and then you go and you level 2, and then you get on the high score thing, and you keep on getting more at time. Yeah, and you want to win the tournament, and you're just getting bigger, and just all of this time, and in the end, your life is but a group of minutes. You just add up the minutes. So all of the minutes that the Salaf used to say that the only thing that people in Jannah will feel bad about is every minute that they wasted without dhikr. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
And being heedless, like that, perhaps we can translate that as being heedless as well. Brother, I know, in college and now all the youth, they have all the social media, mobile phones, all this stuff, laptops, iPads, which is great and we can use it. But sometimes we're heedless, aren't we? And we use them in a way we're just wasting time. Did you experience that also in college?
Yes, I had that because, in the American educational system, you have the Blackboard system, which is everything technological and integrated. So most of the time you keep getting emails, push-up emails and notifications and everything. So maybe you are on your way to do something. No, I already being invited now to something else. Or I have a discussion on Facebook about something else.
Right.
This could be useful sometimes, but it gets you, overwhelming and gets you distracted.
You feel like you didn't accomplish anything in the end. You guys, I want somebody to share with me, if you guys don't mind, some ways that young people can be heedless, or perhaps a personal experience, maybe one or two ways that you spend actually wasting time and how you will try to improve that, inshallah. I know I have my own I can share with you guys as well. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, after we get on Facebook, and now when you get on, you find your friends there, and there's about if you have, for example, 100 or 200 friends, you can you can find them 50 or 70 on Facebook, and that's improving to they are wasting their time there, because Facebook you can't find something.
Even when you log in with a good intention, you get distracted, right?
Yes. But some of them they're Aidan also Shaytan telling to them, you can read some ayah or some hadith on Facebook. So be here, make dawah on Facebook.
Excellent point. That's an excellent point. I think this brother has a comment over here. I see you laughing, brother. Do you experience the same thing on Facebook?
Yes, of course, especially Facebook. But the problem is Shaytan رضي بأحقر الذنوب. What means is Shaytan will become very, very happy with the most smallest thing you will do.
Right.
So this is a problem. So he want to make you do. He don't care if you do a little bit small thing, but he will be very happy. It's nothing for you, but he will be very happy. This is the problem, I think.
Excellent point, brother. In the build in the front. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, I agree with my brother here. The Shaitan, even if you don't do a sin, you just sit forgetting to, not remembering Allah, not remembering what you have to do, not remembering your aim, your cause, he would be happy. If you are not saying, wasting your time, not saying La ilaha illallah, it's a simple thing. But if you're not saying it, if you forget to say it, he will be happy. Like when you're playing video games and it's very harmful thing,
Yeah, of course.
It's very bad, It's sometimes it consumes all the time. Like you sit 24 hours, online games,
right.
And even not online games, normal games. Take your time, and you are not doing something bad, but you are forgetting what you are here for.
And I want you guys to keep in mind, we have a season 2 of Tech Talk with Brother Omar, American guy. He's talking about how to use this iPad, these computers in a positive way. For example, I have this obsessive thing. I check my email like 60 times. I don't have any new emails. He has a system. He says, check your email once a day, and you put the little reminder up that says, I will check my email once a day, and you finish your work in 15 minutes instead of doing it 100 times, wasting your time with that. We're coming to the end of the episode, but Brother Kareem, what about Shaitan's whisper? Is it too strong to fight back? Is it too strong when we fall into it that we shouldn't care to repent anymore? We're just victims here, or is it weak? What does Allah say in the Quran?
I think that this is one of the tricks of Shaitan. Shaitan is multi-faced. He plays around with different things. In the beginning, he'll tell you, do this sin, it's small, forget about this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ghafurun Rahim, He's all merciful. Don't you have a correct aqidah, He will forgive these sins. And then you fall into the sin, and as soon as you do the sin, He turns and He comes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Shadidul Aqab. He has a strong punishment.
Right.
And you have done this sin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not accept you, He will not guide you, He will not take you back. And he plays around with this, and obviously it's like they were saying in the audience, it's the balance between both. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Ghafurun Rahim, yes, but you should not do the sin and then say Allah Ghafurun Rahim. You should, if you do it by mistake, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Ghafurun Rahim, and you use that on that side. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna kayda shaytani kana da'ifa. All of the temptations of the shaitan are very weak. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says that He has no power over those who believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you have correct tawakkul and
knowledge, fear of Allah,
knowledge
reliance.
of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will protect you, because no matter how strong the shaitan is, you have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on your side. If you have, and that's why we say Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim 17 times. This Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's giving us the tools to combat the shaitan.
Okay,
The
excellent
shaitan
point.
is not strong at all.
I think also you have to kind of talk to yourself and find your weakness points.
Great.
And devise and make your own solutions.
Action plan.
Yes. For example, for me, it really worked for me, because sometimes I waste time, and sometimes I delay prayer. So it was like, put your prayer in your schedule.
Yeah.
This is the break for prayer. And actually, when I was working one day in a center for teaching languages, and the secretariat wanted me to make the break time in a time that is different from prayer time. I told her it's not about me, it's about a whole big group of people that they want to pray at this time.
Yeah.
So I forced her to change the break time to be the prayer time, because now I was devising my own way, my own solution.
Right. I like that, brother. Action plan. Don't take the concession, take the easy way out. Take action and recognize your own weakness, because we all have them, and try to work with that.
Make a plan and act.
And stick to it. Yes, we have about 30 seconds left. But quickly, what about someone watching who says, I've committed the same sins 100 times. Every time I have the intention not to do it, and I ask Allah to forgive me, but I do it again. Should I just forget it and just keep committing the sin?
No, keep on repenting. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's more happy with your repentance than if it was somebody who was in a desert and they had their camel, all their food was on it, and it disappeared. He slept, he got up, he didn't find it, and he thought he was going to die. He was convinced 100% he was going to die, and then suddenly he turned around and he found it. And he was so happy. And you can imagine he's going to die completely. He's thirsty, he's going to die. So he was so happy that he said, Allahumma anta abdi wa ana rabbuk. He was so happy that he said, God, you are my slave and I am your Lord. He was so happy, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this was a mistake of his tongue.
Right, of course.
But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is much happier with your return to Him and your repentance than this person who was at the brink of
destruction.
Yeah. And the Prophet ﷺ obviously will be happy on the day when we meet him, inshallah, on Judgment Day, with the people who repent and they come back to Him, and this is the true path. So it's very normal to do sins, but you have to keep on coming back and fighting. The shaitan wants to take you away, pulling you.
Thank you so much. I think I'd love to end on a positive note. Thank you for your time. I look forward to having you both back on Let's Talk. You guys, thank you so much in the studio audience for joining me. I certainly appreciate it. You guys at home, thank you for watching Let's Talk on your favorite channel, Huda TV. Until next time, I leave you in the care of Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're treading seems all uphill, when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're treading seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the dips are high, and you want to smile but have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but do not ever quit. Success is a failure turned inside out. Let's talk and clear the clouds of doubt. Success is a failure turned inside out. Let's talk and